President Kiir urges diplomats to uphold integrity and discipline. South Sudan celebrates International Day of UN Peacekeepers. And SPLA-IO faces major blows as 600 forces declare loyalty to SSPDF in Maban County. Good evening and welcome to SSBC News, coming to you live from Juba. My name is Jacqueline Perino Ephraim. We begin tonight's newscast from the State House, where President Kiir swore in a group of 26 newly appointed and promoted ambassadors. The president calls on them to be exemplary representatives of South Sudan, urging unity within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and a renewed commitment to integrity and discipline in the diplomatic service, directing Finance Ministry to prioritize the timely payment of salaries for embassy staff. SSBC's Alejandro Lotok has the details.
With a firm tone and clear message, President Salva Kiir Mayardit presided over the swearing-in of 41 newly appointed and promoted ambassadors tasked with representing South Sudan's interests abroad and reshaping the nation's foreign policy in line with global standards. Kiir emphasized that South Sudan's image and credibility abroad depend largely on the conduct of its diplomats.
I urge you all to be obedient, committed, and professional in discharging your duties, observing the highest level of integrity and discipline.
The president also used the occasion to assure public servants, particularly those serving in foreign missions, of his administration's efforts to improve working conditions.
The government is doubling its efforts to improve the working conditions for the ministry and indeed across the government departments. That is why I had directed His Excellency the Vice President for Economic Cluster to ensure payment of public servants.
And in what could signal a strategic overhaul of the country's foreign policy machinery, President Kiir announced that he has approved the initiation of reforms within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I have approved initiation of reforms that would result in restructuring of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. These minimum reforms will certainly improve efficiency in the performances of the ministry to deliver results that are aligned to our foreign policy priorities.
Foreign Affairs Minister Mande Semaya Kumba, who also addressed the gathering, reaffirmed the ministry's readiness to collaborate with the new envoys.
This promotion came in a time whereby the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, under your wise leadership and the guidance from your end, is embarking on reform policies that should meet the expectation of Your Excellency and expectation of our people, including the expectation of our global and regional partners. For the newly appointed and promoted ambassadors, I would like to say I'm very grateful to see you here. South Sudan is waiting for you. The people of South Sudan is waiting for you. And I do believe that with your appointment and promotion, that marks the beginning of the new challenge and the new responsibility in the line of your diplomatic career. And I'm very confident that you will be able to handle these challenges and responsibilities.
The ambassadors themselves pledge to uphold the values of South Sudan and carry out their mandate with discipline, diplomacy, and patriotism.
We are proud to serve this nation, its people, the government, with unwavering commitment, dedication, and zeal. As emissaries of South Sudan, we have accepted and we promise you that this trust you place in us is not a sign of rewards, but it will be our continuation to our service to this great nation.
In a separate development, the President directed the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security to prioritize investments in agriculture to support farmers and boost local food production. This directive follows a comprehensive briefing from Agriculture Minister Abdelbagi Akolai on the government's strategic plan to revitalize agriculture, starting with the current planting season.
أنا جيت نورت عن استعدادنا لموسم الزراعة بتاع السنة ده واستعدادنا على مؤتمر الزراعة القومية، وأنا نورت برضو على كيفية نحن نتعامل مع عدد بتاع البابورات التركترات الجو لموسم بتاع الزراعة. نحن بالحقيقة اتفقنا مع سيد الرئيس إنه التركترات ده ما ندو لأفراد، التركترات يدو لمجموعات بتاع تعاونيات، ونحن ندعمه بالتركتر وندعمه بالبذور المحسنة وندعمه بالجاس. والرئيس وعدنا إنه نحن نقيف معه ويدعم وزارة الزراعة. برضو نحن ناورناه بغرض بتاع زيارتنا لبرازيل. اتفاقات نحن نوقع أمام برضو اتفاقات في مجالات مختلفة.
The minister praised the president's steadfast support for agriculture, noting that his leadership is instrumental in promoting farming and improving livelihoods in the country. Alejandro Lotok, SSBC News, Juba.
A high-level regional meeting on advancing peace and socio-economic cooperation in the Great Lakes region has concluded in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. The summit, attended by heads of states and delegates, addressed ending conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Vice President and Chairperson for Economic Cluster, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, who represented President Kiir at the meeting, returned to Juba on Thursday. Speaking upon arrival at Juba International Airport, Foreign Minister Mandi Simaya Kumba says the Vice President presented South Sudan's diplomatic position on the ongoing conflict in Sudan and enlightened leaders on the government's commitment to peace implementation in the country.
During his participation in this important event, and under supervision and the leadership of His Excellency, the Vice President for Economic Cluster, South Sudan participated effectively in 3 levels of meeting. The first meeting was the technical meeting, which was led by our ambassador to the Republic of Uganda and other senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. And the second level of the meeting was the ministerial meeting, in which I had an honor to lead our delegation to this important meeting. And the third level of the meeting was the summit, which was chaired by the outgoing chair and the incoming chair, the President of Uganda, whereby His Excellency the Vice President delivered a comprehensive statement on the current political and security situation in the Republic of South Sudan. He also reflected in his statement the efforts of the Republic of South Sudan on the peace process in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Sudan. In the same manner, the Republic of South Sudan, under the leadership of His Excellency the Vice President, also joined the other delegates in adopting the joint communique, which was adopted by all the delegates in addressing the peace process in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and also the peace process and activities and efforts in the Great Lakes.
Smart Africa, a Rwandan-based Pan-African organization, says it is advancing its capabilities in reforming South Sudan's ICT sector. The organization revealed this in a meeting with the Minister of Information, Communication Technology and Postal Services, Michael Makwenlweth, where they discuss the country's engagement in technological advancement. The ministry's Undersecretary for Telecommunications, Thomas Gatkuoth, who attended the meeting, stated in a press briefing that South Sudan would be working closely with Smart Africa in its quest for economic digitalization and transformation of artificial intelligence society. Smart Africa's head of delegation expresses the organization's readiness assisting South Sudan's institutions, including Information Ministry, National Communication Authority, to strengthen ICT by establishing cybersecurity and data protection agencies.
South Sudan is a founding member, and the President of South Sudan, President Salva, is member of the board. The importance of Smart Africa is to have a digital economy for the region and digitize everything and changing the society from a digital society and today to an artificial intelligence society.
This is really an exceptional moment for us to visit South Sudan, to visit the Honorable Minister, to talk about the advancement of the organizations, as well as to see exactly how we can jumpstart the engagement and the participations of South Sudan. I'm talking about not only the ministry, the agencies, for example, the NCA, as well as the upcoming cybersecurity agency or data protection agency they are willing to put in place. And Smart Africa, of course, will be more than happy to assist South Sudan in establishing those reforms.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and the Director of Human Rights Division at the United Nations Mission in South Sudan have discussed areas of support for the establishment of the Transitional Justice Commission in the country. In a statement to the media, the ministry's Undersecretary Mary Ajith says the meeting focused on Chapter 5 of the Revitalized Peace Agreement and human rights-related issues in the country, with UNMISS Director for Political Division, Musa Yero, reiterating commitment to deepen collaboration with the government in supporting the Transitional Justice Commission establishment in South Sudan.
Discuss issues on Chapter 5 and issues concerning with human rights, and we agree that we will be supporting each other. And from there we started also appreciating the United Nations and African Union by them receiving the call from the Republic of South Sudan to identify three non-South Sudanese for the Commission of Truth and Reconciliation and Healing. Therefore, we agree that we should be working closely with the UNMISS, and we put budget in place for the members of the non-South Sudanese coming to participate in the Commission for Truth and Reconciliation of Healing.
Talk about also how we can work together to support the Transitional Justice Chapter 5 of the Peace Agreement, and how we could support the implementation of what is already ongoing. We talked about also how the ministry would work with me in ensuring that most of the recommendations coming from international treaty bodies are implemented. Already the ministry has a very good...
Let's go out for a short break, and when we come back we'll look into more news stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is SSBC live from the capital, Juba. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Hussein Abdulbagi Akol, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, resident representative discussed their collaboration efforts on the Rural Enterprise and Agricultural Development READ programs. The program is designed to bolster livelihoods in South Sudan's rural areas by enhancing agricultural activities and fostering the growth of small businesses. The initiative is crucial for the nation's journey towards self-sufficient and the broader objective of poverty reduction in the most vulnerable communities. In a statement to the media, UNDP resident representative Muhammad Abshir confirmed that a joint technical mission comprising experts from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, and the UNDP is currently in South Sudan. The mission's objective is to assess the program of the READ project's implementation. Abshir reiterated the UNDP's steadfast commitment to supporting the ministry's efforts.
Currently, a technical mission from IFAD, jointly with UNDP this week, to also assess the progress in the terms of implementation of that particular project. So the minister then gave us his own guidance on the way forward. He really insisted on the need to quickly kickstart and accelerate the implementation of that program, and also to see impact very quickly and shortly on the South Sudanese, but at local level. This is in a nutshell what we have discussed with the minister. I've reiterated UNDP commitment to support the ministry, and I was also very pleased to hear from the minister his full engagement and commitment also to collaborate.
The Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Madoud Biarial, has on Monday visited the admission office at the Ministry of General Education as part of his familiarization tour of departments and directorates under the ministry. During the visit, the Acting Director General for Admission, Alfred Kiliofas Yanga, briefed the minister on several operational challenges facing the directorate, including delay in releasing students' admission results, which he attributed to limited financial resources. The minister's visit is part of a broader effort to understand the internal workings of the ministry and to explore strategies for improving services delivery in the higher education sector.
The minister, newly appointed, is in my program to visit all the departments of higher education, all the directorates, and the issue of Ethiopian scholarship is just a minor thing, but I actually, if it was there, I would have come also to visit all the staff in the ministry. So it is not actually being a push from the scholarship of Ethiopia, but it is a regular official visit to all the directors. But what I have seen is that the offices are very small, very congested, and that is actually could not be the real office for the admission of our students to various universities. So what I have seen is what actually I'm going to sit down with the senior staff of the ministry together with the DG for admission, and then we will try to improve the situation here, offices space, and also other areas where actually people can work comfortably to do their work.
We have several challenges. One of them is, as people, the whole country is aware that the admission of students to the university is here, but it is delayed because of lack of money. And as a result, the students who are now supposed to be in the university have no way out because their admission has not been processed. It's one of the biggest challenges that we are facing. There are others, but we will have time to say about it.
The Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Albino Akolatak, and the chairperson of South Sudan Relief and Rehabilitation Commission, Stephen Queth, met with a delegation from the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue on Thursday. The meeting centered on the follow-up on the follow-up of the commitments made during the declarations of humanitarian dialogue held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania last year. Speaking to SSBC after the meeting, the Deputy Chairperson of South Sudan Relief and Rehabilitation Commission, Agwegring Mabil, said the delegation came to meet the minister and highlighted concerns on humanitarian activities in the country, notably the movement of humanitarian actors and cargo and the challenges facing their operations. On his part, Senior Advisor for the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, Mark Bowden, said their mission was to ensure the Dar es Salaam Declaration is historically implemented and encourage the government to fill the gap left by the U.S. aid cut in the country.
It was based on implementation of the commitment of Dar Declaration and priorities of upcoming humanitarian dialogue activities. And in our meeting, we have highlighted the key issues on U.S. aid cut that has affected some of the projects which were been operating here. The government also is working to bridging the gap on the human aid cut to be fulfilled by the government. For example, like now the government is delivering food, airdrop in Nasser and Wulang. These are the procedures of fulfilling the bridging gap of the U.S. aid cut.
The minister has been very instrumental in helping to ensure that there are agreed commitments, which we talked about their implementation in this meeting, and I very much look forward to our next meeting, which is going to take place in September, where again the minister and hopefully his team will continue to participate, and we look at how we can implement more of those commitments that were made around the Dar dialogue. Some of those commitments have already been met, but we will try and update those to look.
South Sudan and South Africa have renewed their full commitment to developing bilateral relations, especially with regards to tourism development and marketing. This came during a meeting between Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism Rizik Zakaria Hassan with the visiting South African delegation headed by the Director General of African Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. More in Martin Justin's report.
Pleasure to have you here in the ministry today. How are you? I'm fine.
Following up on the agreements South Sudan and South Africa have concluded, especially on wildlife conservation and tourism marketing, the Director General of the African Affairs in the South African Ministry of Foreign Affairs is visiting South Sudan to discuss ways to strengthen bilateral relations. And the spotlight is moving forward in development and tourism marketing, as well as building the capacity of the employees of the wildlife conservation forces. After the meeting bringing together the Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, Rizik Zakaria Hassan, and the South African delegation, the minister elaborates on the conversation.
And in these discussions also have narrated the areas of possible collaborations in terms of wildlife management and for tourism promotions, and also I have sensed the areas of the media's promotions, plus lastly the issues of welcoming tourists from our two countries.
The Director General of the African Affairs in the South African Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Tibogo Siukolo, recommits his country to promoting relations, including sustainable partnership in the tourism sector.
We committed to facilitating those exchanges that will cover a broad range of fields, from tourism products development, capacity building for the tourism sector and for various stakeholders, as well as the marketing, the promotion of our respective countries as destination for tourists.
The South African ambassador to South Sudan, Advocate Maholdi Mofi, says consultations between the two countries will continue until the desired goal is achieved.
We will be engaging all the time to ensure that the technocrats and business people from South Africa and vice versa, from South Sudan to South Africa, they'll start engaging vigorously to ensure that we assist each other as both sisterly countries in developing economically, especially in the wildlife tourism.
South Sudan and South African have struck the joint cooperations in the wildlife conservation and tourism since 2022. Martin Justin Paul Kose, SSBC, Juba.
Let's go for another break, and when we come back, we'll look into a story from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're watching SSBC News live from Juba. The Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, in collaboration with United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, donated poultry items to Logo Mixed Farm at Rajaf Payam of Juba County. The multi-purpose cooperative farm includes fish bone, poultry, honey, and goats. Speaking to the media at the site, the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Onyote Adigo, says the ministry is prioritizing on commercializing the livestock sector to make it more beneficiary in the country. Central Equatorial State Minister of Animal Resources, Alex Latiu, commended the national government and FAO for the efforts towards commercializing the livestock sector. FAO Country Director, Mishek Malo, says the organization is committed to supporting the country's livestock sector. Jamalwani, the chairperson of Logo Mixed Farm, says climate change presents significant challenges to livestock production, leading to reduced animal health and reproductive efficiency.
The red cattle, they kill themselves. The cattle keepers and the farmers, they are in conflict, they kill themselves. It means that our cows, our livestock is of no use. So what do? And the policy of the ministry is we think about this livestock. How do we make it more beneficial to the government? Is by what? Commercializing this livestock. We need to be self-sufficient with milk and beef so that we consume from what we have. Our policy is to have cooperatives. Cooperative is the one building us together.
To thank Honorable Minister for always supporting the state government in the efforts that we are yelling to commercialize not only the livestock sector but also the agriculture sector as a broad concept.
It's really good that at least you came in person to see for yourself our strength and our weaknesses, what we like and what we really request. This farm, we started with something like 7 cows. Some of the first passed because this is zero grazing. And unfortunately with zero grazing, there are so many things, factors that make also when those cows die. One of them was the climate. Wherever we got them, it was a different climate. And the way they reach here, they were also subjected to kind of a different climate.
Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Akwaibona Malwal joined United Nations Agency in commemorating the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. The day honors peacekeepers worldwide who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Addressing the ceremony, Deputy Minister Malwal commended troop contributing countries for the service and sacrifice in South Sudan. Guang Kong, Deputy Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Political Affairs, says the day is remembered men and women serving under the UN flag and that their sacrifice will never be forgotten.
I would like to thank the troop contributing countries who allow many of you to be here to serve us in South Sudan. So we thank you. We appreciate your work and your dedication to the cause of peace for us and on behalf of the world.
Today, we remember our own colleagues serving with the United Nations mission in South Sudan, who sadly passed away in the last year. We express our deep condolences to their families. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten, and their legacy inspired us to continue all the efforts in the pursuit of peace.
The United Nations mission in South Sudan commemorates International Day of UN Peacekeepers in Eastern Equatorial State capital Torit under the theme Peace Begins With Me. Speaking during the event, the State Information Minister John Al-Haj says the government and the people of Eastern Equatorial State are partners of peace. Meanwhile, the UNMISS acting head of field office in Torit, Shevik Tahir, appeals to the people of Eastern Equatoria to work collectively in bringing peace to the nation. The International Day of the United Nations Peacekeepers is observed annually on May 29th to pay tribute to all men and women who have served and continue to serve in the United Nations peacekeeping operations for their dedication and courage, and to honor the memory of those who have lost their lives in the cause of peace.
As we commemorate this day, World Peacekeepers Day, and we, the government and people of Eastern Equatoria State, are partners of peace. That is why we have chosen peace over violence. That is why we have chosen dialogue over confrontation. And for this reason, let us work together to maintain peace in Eastern Equatoria as the beacon of peaceful state in South Sudan.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year, the theme of the International Day of UN Peacekeeper in South Sudan is Peace Begins With Me. It highlights the importance of individual responsibility, knowing that every action we take, no matter how small, contributes to the collective movement for peace. It encourages us to celebrate diversity, embrace unity, and ensure every voice is heard in building the nation. For UNMISS, peace begins with partnership, working alongside with regional and international actors and the people of South Sudan to lay the foundations for a peaceful and prosperous society. Despite the many challenges we are facing today, we are inspired by unrelenting passion for peace in South Sudan. As an impartial partner, UNMISS' role is to support all parties leading to transformation of this country. Here in Eastern Equatoria, I would like to extend a special thank you to His Excellency Governor for all his endeavors in making sure the people of this state live in peace.
The Central Equatorial State Government, in a meeting chaired by Acting Governor Paulino Lokodo Obede, passed a number of resolutions aimed at bolstering service delivery across the state following several memos presented by state ministers. Speaking to the press after the meeting, Jacob Ali Gololado, the state acting information minister, says the memos were presented by the ministers of Cooperatives and Rural Development, of Labor, Public Service and Human Resource Development, as well as of Roads and Bridges.
The council also listened to a memorandum submitted by the State Minister of Cooperatives and Rural Development, seeking for approval of 90 million South Sudanese pounds for training of cooperative officers. The council deliberated on the memo and resolved to approve it. The last memo also comes from the Minister of Roads and Bridges, seeking for approval of 220,594 United States dollars for rehabilitation of 2 bridges along Terekeka, Tindilo, and Tali roads. The cabinet also discussed the document, and it finally resolved that memo to be deferred back to the ministry so that it can submit a full report on what has been done on that road, so that the council will make a decision from an.
The Western Bahar Ghazal Ministry of Health, in collaboration with Italian Emergency Health Operations, launched a campaign to screen congenital malfunctions among children. The campaign aims to raise awareness about risks, promoting healthy pregnancies, and ensuring access to medical care. The doctors will provide health service and perform free surgeries at the health center in Entebbe, Uganda. Speaking during the event, State Health Minister Dr. Francis Michael Hassan calls on parents of children with congenital malformations to bring them to WOW Teaching Hospital. Meanwhile, the Director General of WOW Teaching Hospital, Boris Lawrence Uchala, urges to screen patients with urinary tracts, cardiac, and pediatric surgery cases. For her part, Dr. Jihan Hisham Ramadan, representing the Italian Emergency Health Operations, confirmed that the organization would cover the cost of transportation and accommodation of patients in Uganda and perform free surgeries.
ونكتة مهم برضو ما يفوتني نقوله للمرضى والمرافقين على أساس إنه يكون المركز اللي في أنتبه ده مع أول مرة، ده مركز معترف به عالميا، ويمكن لحد الآن هم يمكن عملوا أكثر من 4500 عمليات في مثل العمليات اللي انتوا ماشيين له، ويمكن شافوا أكثر من 39,000 مرضى، ومن خلاله هم عملوا 4500 حالات. فانتوا يتمنوا ده مركز كبير معترف به عالميا، فمن ناحية ده نحن ما نخاف، نحن كجيل مسؤول نحن متأكدين من كل إجراءات والسلامة بتاعتكم.
سكرينينج أمراض بتاعت التشوهات الخلقية، يعني يشمل أمراض بتاعت الضيق بتاعت المجرى البولي، وأمراض بتاعت الشقوق في الفم، وأمراض بتاعت الحريق بيقول له بان كونتراكشن. فاحنا مبسوطين في الولايه، فرصه كبيره لمواطنين بتاعت ولايه غرب الغزال بصفه خاصه الناس اللي قاعدين في واو انه يجيبوا اطفالهم ويعملوا لهم سكرينينج، وزي ما ذكرت المنسقة
ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعرفكم بنفسي، أنا جيهان هاشم رمضان. نحن جروب من منظمة الطوارئ الإيطالية. الطوارئ منظمة مهتمة بالصحة عامة، بالنسبة للمرضى بتاعنا القلب والأطفال اللي بيحتاجوا لجراحات عندهم مشاكل وعيوب خلقية. المستشفى في زيارة لمستشفى واو حيكون محتاج لجراحة. المنظمة مكفلة إنها تقدم له الخدمات مجانية من العملية والإقامة في المستشفى في يوغندا، الإقامة والتذاكر بتاعت السفر والطيران وكل أي حاجة. هي العيوب الخلقية والتشوهات اللي تحصل للأطفال من الولادة، دي النوعية المستهدفة اللي هم بيحتاجوا لجراحات خاصة جدا جدا ما متوفرة في كل المستشفيات، وأحيانا بتكون مكلفة جدا لأنه المريض بيحتاج لجراحة على كم
Defection in SPLA-IO continues as 600 forces led by Major General Achaya Tanaya declares defection to the SSPDF in Mabam County of Upper Nile State. In his welcoming remarks, the Commissioner of Mabam County, John Paul Koma, says the decision taken by the group reflects commitment to peace and unity. Head of the group, Major General Achaya Tanaya, affirms unwavering commitment to peace and stability. Former Commissioner of Mabam County, Monto Abdallah Bunyo, describes the decision taken by the group as a good gesture to pave way for development and basic service delivery in the area. Mabam County Military Commander, Brigadier General Makwen Mading, welcomed the forces and assured them of their safety.
الانضمام العسكري ل SSPDF ده حاجة كبير مرة واحد من أنا ذات مقصود عشان هم ينجح، ووجودهم في الحكومة ده بيكون أفضل. زي ما هم قال قبل بيكون ما في IO تاني، أنا متأكد منهم هم عارفين ما في IO تاني في خلال، ونقول له حكومة ولاية ولا حكومة القومي والمقاطع ذاته ننمو أنه سلام جه، نقول لهم ذاته مبروك لكم للجاية بتاعكم كلكم بلد بتاعنا، ونمشي قدام ناس الوردة تسأل ما مخليجي أبواب بتاع SSPDF أما حكومة بتاع ولاية مفتوح لأي زول. الحركة بتاع مواطن من مقاطع لبعنا شوا بكون فري. هذا كده ما في حاجة اسمها IO تاني هنا زي ما هم قالوا، المواطن من هنا بهرج يمشي لآخر بعنا شوا آخر أراضي بتاع مبان.
انضمام بتاع الجملة بتاعنا للحكومة ده حاجة كبير، وأكيد استيلات أنا بقوم ما في. لو باقي الناس الفضلوا ورا أنينا لسه نواصل معهم بتلفونات زي ما كان قاعدين نواصل، دايرين اريا بتاع مابان كله يكون سيف، خاصة بينو مابان ده يا ناس ركز عليهم نشوف عدو بتاعنا الورا داك.
فآيو جي دمت لحكومة وجوا وصل معايسة ده 600 وباق جوا لسه ورا وجوا لنا جبت سفرون وأنا لسه جايين وأدب الجينا بيو بنو الزمن ده كله نينا في آيو وزول ما لقى حق بتوع ونينا جينا وصلنا في عافية وفي الزمن ده كله عندنا اتصالات مع قائد الماسك وبرجر 1 في ديفيسن 1 وسيد المحافظ في مقاطعة مابان عندنا اتصالات معه وبنا اتصالات بتاعنا ماشي كويس عشان ناجي يضم في حكومة والناس اللي يدانهم.
يعني الانضمام للأسباب يمكن في أخوان في الحكومة عندهم يد عشان الناس يضموا والناس يمشوا للتنمية بتاع البلد، لأن هسه هنا ماشي لكم 4 سنة ناس قاعدين في الخلا ما لاقين أي حاجة عشان ناس يقدر يوسع المنطقة. هذا كلها سوارة بقى ما في هسه، هذا ناس ماشيين بنقول في حاجات ما في أي حاجة، وعشان كده نظرنا قلنا أخير ناس ينضموا للحكومة عشان.
Authorities of Juba County, in collaboration with Whiter Peace and Development Initiative, graduated 108 women on business entrepreneurship. The initiative aims at supporting women entrepreneurs to overcome challenges they face in running their businesses and improve business performance. More in the following report.
Women's Livelihood Project targets empowering women for self-reliance. Speaking at the graduation, the director of Luri Payam in Juba County, Hilary Juma, calls upon the women to apply their new knowledge and skills proactively.
Requesting you, this money that Waiteka has given you, it is transforming you from 0 to 1 and to 3. So this transformation that you got because of this empowering rural women. And I'm requesting Waiteka also to write another project to open adultery school to keep money. It is not easy. Also, to plan for your business needs education. So we need that school also to be open 2 hours, 3 hours for women so that they really get a good knowledge for keeping money.
Waiteka Peace and Development Initiative Deputy Country Director Gama Hassan says the organization prioritizes empowering women in various domains, including business entrepreneurship.
The areas they are trading, business entrepreneurship and village saving and loan association. Last year, we trained 118 women in the same sector. These women group are put into groups of 10. Each group will be given seed money. This seed money is called revolving fund. So the revolving fund is given in the group.
Central Equatoria State Women's Union Chairperson Cecilia Laco commends the organization for contributing in improving women's livelihood skills, asserting women play greater roles in the society.
Haja de alwadileta kunde wadileta kunitin haja. Wadileta knowledge, wadileta gurush. De haja kabir almunazama wadileta. Haja de ma wadileta konsakit. Lakin de irada taraba ashano bag direktar kullu zol fi bet bitaw ashano ayteka bidai wadilo sunu. Pedeta silu serious. Haya bita laanu miki bidarisita lakin shokola alta kiramulu kanta ma careful ita ma benaja der tabukuni du sobo.
Empowering them in livelihood skills will significantly support family cohesion.
Kan zaman ma barfo na bamulu business anna lakin pesi na bamulu asan Christmas bijamite asan na bibi gumasata yal asanna ba kulumula alquest taban laham kaman ga kuluf min Christmas les Christmas lakini asibika anna maka mulukida kumondereso anna asan jada gurus fujabi kef anna ba fusu gurus anna kef anna birekod gurus anna kef anna that bigeni kef ma yal today bana bodi risala tani leo sasin bitana tawateka raba na kede bar bitakum mabi bitakum kulu derasa bitakum de kede ma turlen abara derasa le bar do kaman kede ro ala hadi le iyal bitakum.
Isaac Ludori Emmanuel, SSBC News, Juba.
That brings us to the end of our news for tonight. On behalf of the English News Desk and the Operation Room, I am Jacqueline Perino, wishing you all the best.